Alright, it's me again, Martin Selenos, your tired and very cold host here right now. But we are ready for some Keyflower action as we are going into the semifinals of a tournament, and the end is very near, and we see our old friend Bryson here going against a new opponent, whom I hadn't seen before, called Scott Dawn, or more specifically Scott Dawn 1. And let's dive right in. So, hello. Here we are. As we can see, the players are already getting started, taking a look at their winter tiles and preparing for the first round. And so, without further ado, let's see what buildings we have here and analyze what we can expect in terms of strategy from these two players. So here we can see a peddler, which can provide anybody who decides to bet for it with green workers, which, yeah. As I said, I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm probably not going to speak very well today, but I will try. God damn it, I will try. So, yeah, we see an opportunity for the players to grab some green workers, to use those fancy strategies nobody actually freaking uses, and I am very disappointed with them for not doing so. So I hope we will see more of that today. We can also see the workshop also being in play, which is a very powerful building because it provides you with one of each resource. So it can allow for very easy upgrades in the second season when you actually grab something to upgrade. It also very easily upgrades itself because you need to only use it twice and then you can just upgrade it. Yeah. Other than that, we see a key mine, which is very useful for anybody going for a resource-heavy strategy with just collecting a bunch of the same resources, or just with collecting a bunch of any resources for something like a barn or stuff like that. We also see a quarry, which is a weaker building in my opinion, because it only provides you with 2 stone, but with an upgrade it provides you with stone and gold, which can be very powerful. Okay, so let's check who goes first. I do believe it's Scott. And so it can provide you with gold, but it is not tremendously powerful in my opinion. The same can be said about the miner, which is basically the same building, the only difference being and woodcutter, which is actually exactly the same. So we see basically the 3 very basic buildings, so we can expect some more, down to earth strategy, nothing too fancy going on here. As my client is having an issue, but whatever, it is fine. So we see that the players are immediately going for the more fancy stuff, which is clearly their priority here, which is completely unsurprising. We see Scott Dawn going for the green workers, and Bryson already betting on that key mine, which is going to provide him with a lot of iron in the future. Workshop is also being bet for by Bryson. As we can see, he picked up on the fact that his opponent has already bet 2 red workers, so he's going for the red workers, so that He cannot properly contest this bet, and Bryson is very likely going to take it with just like 1 or 2 meeples, which is very nice for him. At the same time, we see Scott wasting no time and just going for this quarry right here, so apparently whatever he's doing, he's going to need stone for it, and possibly also gold, which of course is useful in any situation, but might help you especially if you are missing some key components for a certain line of play. So yeah, as we can see, all of the buildings have been bet for at this point, and so the colors which are used for each of them are indeed locked down, and the players will go from there, I believe, in trying to acquire what they really want and to possibly contest the opponent's bets, which I can totally see happening here. So we see that Scott is going for the green workers, he's going for the stone, he's going for the wood, and Bryson is going for the iron for the workshop. So he's just going wide. He wants diversity in his resources, and as we can see, he's already passing, so he's not going to commit much on this turn. What I have noticed in many experienced players in Keyflower is the fact that a lot of them are unwilling to commit workers while the building is still in the middle of the board, because that way they don't get them back, which of course is not the best outcome for you, because you want to get those workers back, you want to make sure that you get maximum efficiency or whatever you're using. As we can see, Scott Dodd actually is being very, very confident in his bet, so he just uses that building. But Bryson actually sees an opportunity here. He just bets 2 immediately after he sees that the worker has been committed here, so this is kind of an added value for this building, since he's going to get that worker if he wins this bet, so he decides to go for it, and that is a very smart move by him, as I see it at least. We also, by the way, see Scott Don betting on the first player tile, because we're having lags again. Oh my god, we're having technical difficulties. Alright, it's fixed, it seems. Okay. Yeah, so sometimes workers disappear in this game, which is an issue, to say the least. Okay, so, and we actually see Scott kind of giving up a lot of workers here. Just moves his losing bet to that building to grab an iron from it. Oh, and that to me just seems like he's given a hell of a lot of workers to Bryson for no good reason, so we'll see. On the other hand, there is a very interesting ship here, as you might have noticed. It has 6 blue workers on it, which is curious. Okay, so Scott is not going to just give up workers so easily. He's just going to bet more on that workshop right there. Funnily enough, he decided to back out of that play to just to get the green workers, and just decided to go for the workshop instead. And we see Bryson play kind of aggressively, you can say that. He's just contesting every bet Scott makes, and is forcing them to make some interesting decisions, to say the least. And they both pass, so now we will actually see what the situation looks like. So, yeah, kind of got in the way. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm really sleepy. We see Bryson just moving stuff around. Okay, very interesting. So Bryson kind of got a lot more workers here. Oh, no, I mean a lot more buildings here, and they actually kind of broke even on the workers they placed on those things, and on the losing bets. But Scott Dawn got to pick the first ship, and he picked the ship with diverse workers, which is not surprising considering that having different colored workers is very, very advantageous, and Bryson being left with all blue can actually be a little bit tough for him to fight Scott for the bets he wants in this round. For now, the players are just going to do some maintenance, just place buildings here, and I'm just going to draw them. Oh my god. Yeah, this is not great. This is not great. Hopefully it can reconnect me quickly, because it's not the best thing to have happen in the semifinals. Also, I just realized I didn't shave, and I look like I would say like a mix between jihadi and a hobo. So that's probably not the best looks you can have at this point. But anyways, at least we're back, so that's good. Yeah, I was about to just draw some buildings for them for the summer season. We'll see what's going on. Okay, so we see some transportation. We see two boats actually. Boats are always always very interesting. So one boat is a boat which I consider incredibly OP. That is a boat which gives you an opportunity to ignore the same color rule for betting and for placing the workers on stuff. So just allows you to place anything, anywhere, which is extremely powerful actually. Take 7 here, take 6 here. Help the players do the maintenance, which is a upside of actually having a sit in the game. That just helps things get the things moving more smoothly and faster, you know. Pretty good. So, what do we see in the second round? So, this boat I consider incredibly OP. I'm not sure what the players actually think about it, but in my opinion, it's just kind of broken, really. It allows you to both bet and use buildings with workers of any color, which is just, it's absurd. That's actually, like, yeah, it's not that ridiculously OP. It's still pretty powerful, but yeah, now that I read it, and actually, yeah, you cannot ignore the color rule for betting for tiles, so you can only ignore it for using the production ability, which I think is still very powerful, especially considering that we are going to see some green workers in the game, and having this can just help you make them pretty worthless, really, outside of betting at least. We see some pretty standard, you know, transportation. So this, which I do not consider very powerful at all, It just helps you score tiles which require a specific kind of resource. And maybe one of the players has one of those tiles, maybe there's more than one, and maybe we will see some fighting over this one, but I'm pretty sure this is not very powerful for any of them. I mean, you can just if you have that sort of tile which requires a specific kind of resource, you're going to be building towards it the entire game, and that kind of makes this not very powerful, even though it's only available. It's available in the second season, and you can kind of bypass some of that building towards a certain tile. I'm not sure. I'm not sure overall. Maybe it will be just. Maybe it will be a bloodbath for this one. Oh my god. Yeah, this is a problem. Alright. It's just why everything goes so weirdly every time we have a match. Alright. we can proceed with the game finally. I actually noticed that something was wrong, so this is good. So yeah, we see the transportation being bid for immediately, and yeah, we actually see Bryson going for that boat tile to probably make it easier to score some stuff. Maybe it is going to be very nice for him. Who knows what he has in his hand? We have a trick here. What other things do we have happening right now? Yeah, we actually have the players kind of fiercely contesting this boat over here. But as we can remember, Bryson actually has a ton of blue workers, so fighting with him on this one is just kind of maybe just to make it a little bit more difficult for Scott to just for Bryson to easily take it, make him commit more workers to it, and then just move or every other worker from his losing bet somewhere else. I guess that's probably his plan with this. Yeah, here basically every building is very powerful. Like we have Tavern, which can allow you first to kind of cycle workers to get the workers of a different color, and get more workers in the further rounds, and then after it is upgraded you can just use it to gain worker advantage immediately, which makes it an extremely powerful building. As we've seen in the previous games, it can actually win you matches by itself, because you just get such a lead on your opponent in terms of how much actions you can do and how much you can commit to each bet, that it becomes very hard for them to compete at that point. Carpenter is just a very simple building which allows you to produce a lot of gold, potentially. So that's good. Oh, and we can actually see Scott committing the green worker to the production boat, which is very interesting. We're going to see how that works out for him, because as I said, it is not as ridiculously powerful as I initially thought, because it does not allow you to bet with workers of every color, which would have been ridiculous now that I think about it. It still allows you to do production with workers of any color, and that is very good. That is very good for him, especially considering his opponent actually has a building which produces green workers, which can be used to do nasty things to him. Things like, for example, getting the move onto his transportation with a green worker, which he cannot respond to. Making waste a lot of workers to trying to make green workers of his own, trying to just not allow their opponent that lockdown potential. Oh my god, this is an opportunity to deny a lot of that with just betting onto this. Which is a smart move, I think. Considering he invested into that green worker already, might as well kind of translate it into that green worker advantage for the entirety of the game. Very, very nice. Oh, we can see some production going on in the villages of both players. We can see Bryson. I think it was Bryson producing his own town. Yeah, it was clearly Bryson. Oh yeah, that was from there from the previous round. It's very hard to keep track of the resources being produced here because you have no indication of what players' workers you see on the tile. And obviously, if the tile was being used by its owner, the resources are going to be on the tile itself, while the resources produced by the opponent's workers are going to go onto his home tile. So you can kind of read the game right like that, but it's still very, very difficult sometimes to keep track of everything that's going on. So okay, so he's using his... Bryson kind of thought for quite a bit there what he was going to do, and he decided to actually commit to upgrading this smelter to get gold in the future. It's the gold in the mountains, so he clearly does too, and he's going to use that gold, I would imagine, to upgrade his peddler. Probably as soon as possible, because he wants to get those sweet green workers. As many of them as possible, I would imagine. Please go back to my game. Okay. Good. So what else do we see here? Now we see him going for that, much more leisurely, I'd say. And on the betting front, we actually don't see much happening. We see just Skotka's committed to reds to the farrier to get sweet transportation, which will quite possibly make his opponent actually contribute workers to his village just to get those transportation into his own town. At the same time, we actually see that Bryson decided to spend most of those blue workers onto his own village, which obviously will give them all of those workers back. And now, oh yeah, now he's committing to that ship. Okay. I was about to say that maybe Bryson saw what Scott Dawn was trying to make him do, was trying to make him commit more than he really needed to this ship, and he was maybe backing out of it and just spending those workers elsewhere, but he is actually not backing out at all. Okay, and we now see Scott Dawn. We're pretty confident in his victory, already using the transportation upgrade there. Oh. Okay, just accidentally move some stuff. And now we see that his workshop is already upgraded, which is going to allow him to produce any resources he wants in large quantities. Very, very nice for him. At the same time, what else do we see going on? we still don't see any moves to upgrade the Peddler by Bryson, but he's actually almost out of workers as well as Scott here, so I would think that both players are probably going to pass right now. And we'll see what they will do in the future. So yeah, so both of them pass, and kind of really a little bit of an eventful turn right here, because we didn't see too much happening. The fight for that boat was about to get heated, but Bryson just has had so many blue workers, and he wasn't able to dictate how that was going to go because he just contributed the worker there first. So I think if Scott really wanted to contest that stuff, he would have needed to contribute to the worker of some other color, considering he saw that Bryson actually has an incredible amount of blue workers thanks to that kind of stupid boat there. So we are going into autumn already, so that's going to be interesting. I'm going to just pull out our autumn tiles right here. So players can see them, and also so that we can see them. So what do we see in our autumn tiles? We see a blacksmith, which will obviously be very good for Bryson here, since he committed to the chip, so he can use any type of resources on that blacksmith to get the bonuses, which can be extremely nice for him, even though he kind of lacks transportation to really put them in there. He might have to use Scott Dawn's Farrier as because, you know, as I said, kind of Bryson needs transportation more than Scott, and maybe he picked it, well, he obviously picked it to deny Bryson that opportunity to get that transportation into his own village, and I also think he might have picked it to... might have picked it to get some workers from his opponent, because he will be very much forced to sorry, just let me do some maintenance here. Then I'll try to continue. So he will be very much forced to spend workers in his village, and that's very much what Scott wants to see, because Bryson is actually already down on worker count, which is kind of uncharacteristic of him. I've seen him in the previous games just maintaining that huge worker advantage over his opponents and kind of pulling through like that, but here we see that he already has less workers than Scott, and that is looking a bit concerning, considering he will actually have to transmit some of them to his opponent. And I think this advantage for Scott, it translates into Bryson kind of overcommitting to that ship. And as we can see now, that is not going to be that crucial for him, because he can already make stuff in his village for the blacksmith, no problem whatsoever. He can just upgrade this, stick the blacksmith somewhere over here, and then just very easily put a bunch of iron onto it to earn a lot of points. But the issue for him here is his lack of transportation. All transportation is centered in Scott's hands, and he has control over it. And something really interesting that I didn't really think about previously, but Scott might choose not to upgrade it until the very end of the game, because he doesn't really need much transportation here. And by not upgrading it, he will not give his opponent an opportunity to really capitalize on this huge transportation value. Okay, we see Bryson going for the green workers, which transform one yellow into one green. And we see... God. We see Scott Don committing to the stone yard over here. And he does not actually have He does not actually have this board, but as we can see, he actually has a very solid stone production, so he has nothing to worry about. Even though he doesn't have like the potential to produce iron like Bryson has, he still can fill it up pretty nicely and get a lot of points from it. And he's also going for the blacksmith to, I would think, mostly deny Bryson that play, deny Bryson that opportunity to get a lot of points from the blacksmith and win the game like that. It's very interesting. You also see all of the usual, you know, the upgrade stuff, the well, which requires stone to upgrade, this forge, which requires iron to upgrade, and goldsmith, which requires gold to upgrade, so it's pretty standard stuff. Barn over here, which can actually be well, it's kind of hard to say that it's going to be nice for the players, because I think both players actually want one of this because they have a much higher potential to provide them with a lot of points. The barn is kind of a cop-out. It is a thing that you take when you can take any of the actually good things. And Bryson is also kind of taking this crop-out route. He is going for the forge. He is not willing to contest his opponent on those two. Or maybe he just simply cannot contest his opponent on those two. I'm not really been keeping track of yellow workers, but if we consider that Bryson was turning them into green ones, yeah, that might not be looking too good for him. And we can see that Scott is actually producing some stuff here. Looking to most likely prepare for the next turn in which he will transport all of that stuff. We will also see what winter buildings hold for us, because those buildings actually contribute a huge amount of points to the final score of both players, and it's going to be very interesting. We've already seen winter buildings really turning the tables for some players. When, for example, in the previous games of Bryson F. Costa, I just completely missed the fact that he was crushing his opponent with one of those by just getting a huge amount of points from the workers he has accumulated over the course of the game. So we'll see whether he will be able to do that right now, because I actually see the things going pretty well for Scott. He's winning the bets he wants to be winning, but Bryson is taking the sneaky route of just betting for this kind of more low-key buildings which don't have such explosive points potential, but which still can be very solid for you, considering he has the means to upgrade this in a breeze. Like he will have no problems upgrading that whatsoever. Well, on the other hand, is a weird choice for me. I would have actually, well, he was already betting on the goldsmith by this point, but I would have bet on the goldsmith first, to be honest with you. Oh, I actually see that Scott decided to just go for the upgrade. He doesn't care. I guess he just wants to... Oh my god. I guess he just wants to transport a lot of stuff by himself in this round and in the future round, I would guess. Since, like I said, the well is kind of a weird choice because I don't think Bryson will be able to upgrade it. Or at least not easily. Unless he is willing to spend 3 gold, and spending 3 gold just kind of seems a bit of a terrible idea to just upgrade the well and just get 7 points from that. It's a little bit suspicious. Okay, for now we see Bryson is just, well, what we see right now is mostly maintenance. We don't actually see any heated battles for these styles over here. But we do see that Bryson wanting to get that ship over here, which makes perfect sense considering the autumn makes the first player tile extremely important, because one of the ships is now kind of bad. So getting the first pick of the ship is extremely important before winter, so that you can finish up with all the plans you have made. We see just players doing kind of maintenance. We're in Ghost Town right now. Meeples are just disappearing left and right. That's very weird. And we can see Bryson just abusing his opponent's building, which he has just upgraded to get that value, to get those workers. Which is very nice for him, because as I said, he was behind on workers, and he's actually now catching up very nicely. I think he may even use that action the second time. I don't know. It doesn't actually make any sense for him to use it the second time, because he will have to waste 3 workers and just get 3 in return and just give 3 to his opponent. So he will be 2 to his opponent, and that would be a very stupid thing to do. And we see that this style is being contested very hotly, because, unsurprisingly, getting those 3 additional meeples can be very crucial at the end of the game. Okay, and for now we see Bryson just going for some iron production. I'm actually very surprised that he decided not to upgrade here. Possibly didn't have to blue meeples, or possibly that he's just saving them to bet on the first player tile. Because I would have opted to upgrade this, because this just makes kind of more sense. Right now this building is a little bit dead, and maybe I would have prioritized that, though it's hard to say. It's hard to say without seeing everything that the players see here. But also, just listen to something a little bit more pleasant. Okay, okay. Get it. And we can see that Scott actually getting quite a bit of value here from that boat. He is able to use 2 yellow meeples to place workers on that tavern and get a massive boost for his next turn. Right now it's a neutral play though, he's not getting anything out of it for now, but in the future that is going to be very, very good for him. I can see that Bryson is just continuing to spend those skill tokens on upgrading this, on using these buildings, not upgrading them. That is what's surprising me, because not spending those skill tokens on upgrading, he's actually just like throwing points away. And like, I mean, every skill token like that is only worth 3 points, but it's still pretty valuable, I think, because you get the points and you get upgraded buildings, which you can then use to push production in the final round. So that's kind of surprising for me. Maybe he doesn't want to open an avenue for Scott to abuse building skills, because if he upgraded those 2, he would have been able to very easily, with just like workers of any color, abuse this too and get a lot of resources out of nowhere. So it's very, very interesting stuff going on right here. Maybe he's just following that line of thinking and just doesn't want to give his opponent an advantage he doesn't deserve. Okay. Let's see, actually, then. Okay, Scott is also producing some stuff. Oh, for now, nothing too flashy is going on. Just see players preparing for that final showdown in winter of Keyflower. Reducing all the resources. Probably to get ready to just upgrade a bunch. Or to abuse some of the buildings they have. I'm really wondering right now what those buildings could be, because so far, the line of play chosen by Bryson doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but as he has shown in the past, sometimes the line of play he chooses is actually extremely well thought through. Also, I should note that he's actually posed to upgrade this building. He's posed to upgrade this building, though I'm pretty sure we're missing a boot piece here. He didn't move it anywhere, it's just like not showing up on the screen. So he actually has kind of 4 points just ready for the taking. All he needs is to press that upgrade button, and that's exactly what he's going to do, because he kind of resigned himself that he's going to get less workers. And oh my god, the worker advantage for Scott in the final round is going to be absolutely ridiculous here. Yeah, and Bryson moving that bet and upgrading that building. Getting 7 points right away, that's pretty nice. And we see that both players actually just pass. So now a very, very likely preparation for the winter is ahead of us, because they're going to need to place that stuff, they're going to need to actually decide which tiles they're going to commit to the board in the final round, and that is going to be very, very interesting to see what is going on. right there. For now, we might try and analyze what boats might be better for each of the players. To be honest, both boats look like they're going into Scott's village pretty perfectly, because, I mean, the first boat, given them a coin for each of the road triangles in your village, is going to give Bryson like 3 coins, I think, at best. Because right now he has 2 of these triangles in his village. And Scott also has 2, so yeah, that boat is not looking too hot for any of the players right now. Transportation boat, the boat which gives a coin for each point of transportation in your village, on the other hand, it looks mighty attractive to Scott Dawn right here, because it is going to give him 7 points right off the bat without needing to really commit anything to it, which is extremely good for him. Don't see any of the players really setting up for... Oh no, we actually see Scott Dawn here setting up for the starting player tile, which can provide you a very nice very nice point boost at the end of the game, because it's kind of easy 5 points at the end of the game. If you set it up correctly. Oh god. Is that actually what I'm seeing? Wow, Scott Dawn seems to have 7 workers! Over his opponent, Bryson, which is a very significant amount, to say the least. And as we can see, Bryson actually has some pretty dopey buildings. Not sure what he's going to do with this well. Maybe he just took it to 3 points. Goldsmiths, yeah, he's supposed to pretty easily upgrade that. And he's supposed to pretty easily upgrade that, but... You'll still need a lot of transportation, and obviously in winter you don't care too much about giving your opponent's workers. Unless, of course, there is the worker set building in the final round that we're about to see, but that is going to be very interesting, and I'm pretty sure... Is it showing up on the screen, or are they still thinking? Oh god, it actually is 8 workers. 8 worker advantage for Scott here. Pretty damn ridiculous. Okay. You can see Bryson committing 1 tile, which is not a good sign, because when a player commits 1 tile, maybe they're just being really cautious. Oh, and here's the worker set building, so, oh my god, that is going to be so good for Scott. And the key market, which is given points for green meeples, is not going to be good for any of the players, because there are only 2 green meeples in the game. Though we might see one of the players actually just really meshing this building. Just to grab those green meeples and to get as many points as possible from this. Though they might actually completely ignore both buildings, funnily enough. I think the fact that they only committed one building. It sort of indicates that the game didn't go as planned for any of the players, really. Maybe Scott was just committing to the Meeple's Head building from the very start, but still he surely would not have committed to only one building if he could have played this otherwise. So I think it is very likely that the game just didn't go well for any of the players. Though I actually see Scott being in an immensely better position, unless of course Bryson just bets one of his green meeples on that Meeple's Head building and completely denies it to his opponent. That is going to be difficult to contest. I am not sure why Scott didn't bet on this building right away, because that could have happened. The betting of the green people could have happened, and did he not see it? Or maybe I'm not seeing something and he actually has enough green meeples to not worry about this stuff. But for now it just looks like Bryson completely denied him access to that. And he really wanted to see that building, I would imagine. Because it looks like it is going to give him a lot of points. And right now Bryson is kind of saying to him that, yeah, if you want to commit, you gotta pay up to me. So he is now grabbing a green meeple, and what is he going to do with it? Is he going to commit to the green meeple building? Is he going to commit to the meeple set building? That is a very strange situation for Scott, because I think he just misplayed there. It just looks much better for Bryson now, because he already got one meeple of his opponent, so if his opponent actually decides to commit to the green meeples building, Bryson will be able to pretty effectively abuse the meeple set building he gets, since his opponent will not commit to it, and he'll just get a lot of points that way, because the opponent will be forced to give him a lot of meeples. That's, yeah, and as you can see, he's giving him a ton of meeples here. He's losing workers on this trade like nobody's business, and we actually see his advantage evaporating. Advantage used to be 7 meeples, and this is now just 4. And we're only kind of halfway into winter of this game. I think that misplay was very, very crucial here. I think the sequencing was not kind of thought through for Scott here. He did not consider that his basically the crux of his strategy might get bet on with a green worker, and he might get denied that. And it's very interesting. Also, very curious to see what happens to the key market, because I think after you commit a green worker to a winning bet, so you lose it, it kind of becomes very, very meh for both of the players. And it's definitely meh for Scott, because Scott only has 2 green meeples, so he's going to get like 4 points out of it, and that was a huge commitment. He went down a lot of workers there, and he gave his opponent 3 workers, so it's just not looking too good for him here. So very strange situation to find yourself in. Bryson is taking his time considering stuff. It's actually kind of tense right now because of that misplay. Of course, it's kind of hard to say whether it was a misplay in the first place, but it definitely looks like one. And I'm not actually even sure why Scott committed to the green workers. I think he should have just kind of let it go at that point. Maybe. Not sure. I mean, right now he can outbet Bryson there. But the green worker then will just go somewhere else, and that somewhere else is probably either the first player tile to grab the ship he likes more, or the other building, which gives points for green workers. Of course, that building is pretty irrelevant, so I would imagine he would use that green worker to just grab the first player tile, because that is going to be useful for him, because he will get the yellow meeple, which will help him push some more at the end of the game, and he will also be able to get the first player tile himself. He doesn't have too good of a setup for it, but he can set up a little bit better and get just like 4 or 5 points from it, which is going to be extremely nice for him for kind of a low commitment there. So yeah, the saga of Ghost Meeples continues. This one was invisible. The player, we can actually see Bryson continuing for the second turn to abuse the building of his opponent to get a huge, just catch up on meeples. I wouldn't say get a huge meeple advantage, because it would obviously not be true. It's just kind of playing catch up with the meeples, but doing so pretty damn effectively, in my opinion. So what is going to happen here? Alright, not much going on right now. Both players just, falling back, looking what the other will do. Just upgrading, doing all of the regular stuff. As you can see, Scott actually snatched some gold from Bryson. But he gave him so many workers. I think if Bryson somehow manages to get that meeple set building, he's going to be pretty golden in this game. The issue, of course, being that I don't think he actually has a way to get that building right now. Maybe some cheeky play with upgrading the peddler and then using it another time to grab 2 green meeples, and then he can outbet Scott here. Because right now, even if Bryson... Well, actually, if the Bryson has a second green meeple, I think he would have placed it at this point, because you can't place a tying bet, so Scott would not be able to just tie him with his second green meeple, which he has. Very, very solid play if you can pull it off, but I don't think Bryson actually has the second green meeple, which is a little bit bad for him, because right now, if and I would even not say if, I would say when Scott bets on that meeple set building, he is going to just very easily take it with just 2 green workers and still have a lot of them to actually use with the building at the end of the game. Oh god, talking is so hard right now. I mean, I know I'm bitching, I know, but I just can't help it. I've not been having the best of time, and I need a little bit of a vent right now, so whoever is listening to this stuff is going to be my vent. And at least right now nobody is listening, so that's probably for the best. But anyways, there's also not much to talk about in the game other than the fact that Bryson is going a lot of workers down again. You can see that. Oh my god, what is going on? Yeah, as we can see, most of Bryson's hand is just here in this workers. Also here in that worker. And there's also this glorious mess of the workers of all different colors. It's impossible at this point to understand who the hell has which workers. Oh my god, but look at that, Scott is just... He has upgraded his stone yard already, and he has so much stone on it. He's making a really good use of that building. At the same time, we also see that Bryson upgraded 2 of his buildings that he grabbed. Words. Oh my god. Okay. I think that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I'm just gonna fix it. Let's see, he still has a forge to upgrade. I'm very curious why he hasn't done so yet. Maybe he's looking for a better upgrade, because he has a lot of iron here, but moving it over there is going to be a nightmare for him. Okay, we also see Bryson taking the first move onto that first player tile. Very interesting. Because he doesn't have the best setup for it, but Scott has clearly set up for it, and denying it is going to be pretty important, especially considering he still can just get about 4 or 5 points from it, which is decent enough, to be honest. Bryson honestly looks like he's in a lot of trouble, because this is 21 points right here. This one little tile is 21 points for Scott. That is going to be really hard to argue with. Considering the most expensive tile for Brighton just gives him only 7 points, and I'm pretty sure Scott is setting up to just get that very, very easily, and will give him some nice points, honestly, because there are at least 3 of his opponent's workers on his buildings. Oh, actually, maybe not, now that I think about it. He might have just used this building with workers of 2 different colors, but I don't think he would have done it in the way it is going right now, because it only allows for 2 uses, and it's an efficient worker use, so... As I said, it's pretty hard to keep track, but I think he's about use the building here, and the thing with that is that you give your opponent workers, which is not really what to do at all. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just a small issue there. Just the player overlooked the absence of the road here. Yeah. Looks like we have another case of phantom workers, or maybe just a player being a little bit hasty here. Just overthinking. It's just, I think the players are just like so concentrated on what they're trying to do. They're kind of messing up their moves sometimes, just in the purely physical sense. You know, just putting workers where they're supposed to go. Which is a little bit amusing, always. You know. Is it like here? Just, yeah. Oh. Okay. The ghost workers are horrible today. Like, it used to happen to me like a couple of times before in the tournament. Today it happens like every freaking turn. What is happening right now? That is an issue, and that needs to be fixed, to be honest. Oh, not like the hugest problem, but it is annoying in this environment, especially when you're trying to get all competitive and do everything the best possible way, and then you just can't see what the hell your opponent is doing. That's not something you want to have happen, really. So we see that both players are almost out of workers, and yeah, just as I predicted, Scott has committed a lot to the play, but still pretty nice for him, and Bryson kind of moved the worker really inefficiently, and yeah, we see the passes here, and I am pretty sure Scott is going to take that game. He has a ridiculous number of points there. Yeah, like sure, Bryson grabbed the boat of his choice and he got the first player marker and he got all of that, but that hardly compensates for how many points his opponent is going to get from this little building right here. Like, he doesn't have many workers left in his hand.
Because if you were, you'd be able to bend over and kiss your ass goodbye.
We can actually just count most of his sets here, and as you can see, he has 3 at least, which is 9 points, which compared to this 21 points over here, that is going to translate into a ridiculous advantage. So let's just count roughly the amount of points the players have. Bryson was not able to properly use this boat at all. He got outbid on all the buildings he wanted to actually get with it. 60 exactly, you say. He has like 2 for this, 6 for this, 2 for this, 4 for this. And he's just points in his village. 6. 11, 18. Oh, he gets, since all of them count as gold, I believe he gets like 7 points for this, but that is not enough. I don't think so. It's like 24 points. Just counted it wrong. No, he should have more points. Or is it not correct? And I just can't count. I'm really tired right now, so it's really hard to do math right for me. So this is like, okay, let's just try and focus. This is 17 points. This is 22 points. It's 29 points. This is 36 points. This is 46 points. I forgot what the hell I was counting again. Oh my god. 14, 17, 22, 29, 36, 46, 50, 52, yeah, 60, exactly. It's only 58, really? With all of that stuff? There's 3 sets, which contributes 12 points to his total. It's 21. So he has 12 plus 21 is going to be 33. 33 is going to be 41 for this. It's going to be 44. Okay, 12. Oh, 83. I'm probably missing one. Okay. So that's 36. Oh, and also the gold, yeah. And 2 loops, which I completely forgot to take into consideration. Yeah, 2 loops here and here. The other ones are not complete, fortunately. God. Okay. So 12, 36, 49, 52, 54, 56, 58, 58. That was really close, actually, and I am amazed by Bryson being able to just That was actually really close. Let me take a screenshot of this stuff. Oh my god. Alright, so... So we have a winner here. We have Bryson coming through again with a pretty amazing win. Very, very close. Somehow, absolutely not sure how, but pulling this off again. Very, very cool. Just some very tight, very neat calculations. Extremely nice game. So we can congratulate Bryson on taking this game, and I am going to go to sleep because I can't stay awake much longer. It's just not going to work for me. Thank you for watching, and I hope I will see you again sometime in the future. Bye bye.